Hi, and welcome to this introduction to the new Strategic Advisor help function in Auburn Crown. It comes in response to a common issue players have with the campaign, and my personal belief that help should be in the game rather than in a manual, to the extent that that is possible. A comment that I've seen a few times is that players don't know what's going on in the fantasy world of Auburn Crown. Unlike, for example, War in Europe, where you can lean back on history to inform your decisions, there's no known history or lore to fall back on in Auburn Crown. For War in Europe, the player knows that after Poland comes the Low Countries, Norway and France, then North Africa, and the epic Barbarossa campaign. Players of Auburn Crown have no such support. That is where the Strategy Advisor in version 8 comes in. For single player games, you will be given an option to use the Strategy Advisor or not. If you choose to avail yourself of his excellent advice, there will be a pop-up dialog boxes at relevant intervals to give you ideas on what to do in the next part of the campaign. The Strategy Advisor is intended to be used for new players, and the strategy guide will include the full script for reference. Once you're familiar enough with the campaign, respond no to the decision and you won't get all the advice screens. So what you're seeing on the screen at the moment is the one for the adversaries. Magister Zostrozo is the strategy advisor, and he offers his services to you to help with how you go about running the campaign. If you say no, then you won't get any more of these screens, and you'll be able to play the campaign as normal. But if you are playing it for the first time, or just want to go back and refresh your memory about things, then this is a good way of doing it. So once you've done that, let's say we'll say yes to this here, and we get the background information about the Emerald Imperium, which has been in the game for a long time now. The starting screen of the War of the Mithril Scepter, again, that's been there for a while. If you were to say no to the advisor, you wouldn't get those anymore. And then we go into an adversary's start information screen. This tells you in very, very summary form bits about what the adversaries are and what each of the countries should do to start the game. So Guatenheim, for example, move units to where you intend to attack. All right, that sounds really, really basic, and of course it is, because there's going to be more information as we go forward. In fact, in the opening turns, you probably get a lot of information, or you will get a lot of information to take in, and that's why I've been going to put it into the strategy guide as well. So if you need to go back and look at it, it's there. All right, so click on that one, and we have the first of our advisor screens. And I'm not going to go through all of the ones that pop up, but this will give you a good idea. Now you can see that there's still a bit of reading to be done. If you hate reading to that extent, I'm sorry, but it's not really possible to give you all the information that is involved in this campaign without actually putting it into the written word, or listening to my voice ad infinitum, which I'm sure you don't want. All right, so this first piece of advice is about land units. It tells you the different types of land units, gives you the icons that represent those land units, and you know that you are an advisor screen because the advisor will show up in the top right hand corner of that screen. All right, so that's the land units. I won't go through that now. And we have each individual country as they mobilize, so you won't get all of them to start off with, but as they mobilize, you'll get information about them. So we've got Draka here, the Dreadworm, and what he's on about tells you a strategy for him. And down to Guatenheim, the same sort of thing. You get a strategy for Guatenheim, and also more about Guatenheim, because at the end of this very first turn there are two decisions that are really important for Guatenheim, so getting those discussed to start off with is important. Whether to attack Guildford through the tunnel, or whether to take on the great dragon Imrith, the Doom of the Desert, are two really important decisions. And the Golden Khanate is the other mobilized country with information about it too. A little bit more information about its starting attacks. And then we're into the turn. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it there for the adversaries, and I'll go across and have a bit of a look at a couple of screens or advisor screens for the allies. Okay, so the strategy advisor for the allies is the venerable Vezran, who is blind, super powerful mage. But anyway, that's not important to the game, and I'll say yes to his advice. Clicking through a few screens, I just wanted to show you the look and how it's a bit different to the adversaries. Basically, the color and the image of the advisor. But we'll go and have a look at a decision and also some of the extra help that's involved in making decisions within the game. As an example, this is a decision that comes up at the end of the first turn for the allies about whether to raise taxes or influence Angford. And it goes through a description of what each of those options is. But each decision now has a extra piece of information in the notes section when you click on notes with a recommendation. So each decision now has a recommendation, so that means that you can go with the recommendation to keep the flow of the campaign going. You might come back and change that, and you know, in a subsequent game where you take different decisions. But at least with the recommendation, you get some idea of what you should do and where you should go with that, and it overcomes analysis paralysis to some extent. So they are the two things that you have got now in Auburn Crown for help with how to play the campaign: the strategy advisor and the notes section in decisions. I hope that helps play the game and make it a little bit more enjoyable for you. And until next time, see you.